We also have dynamic tools that are improved in this year that can really help you model, get a better understanding of what the object is going to, or how successful the object is going to be when you use it in real life before spending all that money to actually create them. And then there's also new modeling tools. NURBS have been around, but they've really improved them. And other programs have sort of used this technology for 2 decades, and 3ds Max has really improved the usefulness of these tools so that you don't have to import them from those programs anymore, and you can just do it directly into inside of the software. So other aspects of 3ds Max can be seen online. Just take a look. I can go into hours on how awesome the program is and all the cool new features. But here's a few examples of particle flows getting better and more realistic as we develop the program more and more. Things that usually take a long time are being streamlined and becoming more efficient and easier to use. These particle flows can really help make your scenes realistic. There's water particles, there's air particles, and or if you have to make the planet get hit by a meteor or something interesting like that, you can develop those right into the program. Another great feature for architects is taking your scenes and adding a realistic approach and animation to your models. You can throw people on there under the Populate tab, and within a few minutes you can create 1 to 5 minute videos that has a sense of scale, a sense of usefulness, and as you can see, just with a few clicks, you already have people walking on your projects, and you don't have to bring that into any other program in order to accomplish all these great aspects. Another one is, for those of you who have been using the program, there are even better enhancements in those features that can really be fun to use. Some other people who are using the program in order to educate and create a more sense of playfulness. The Smithsonian X3D, I recommend taking a look at all sorts of models, from the Big Bang to Lincoln's assassination. It's really fun to have the museum sort of at your fingertips at home, and they've used point clouds in order to create these models so that you can interact with them without having to be there on site. So a lot of companies are using these techniques in order to create their models. Let's see, hide this. For those of you who are new to the program, it seems scary at first when you see it, but once you dive into it, you'll see that it's perfectly fine. The updates and the newer years of 3ds Max, they've started creating this sort of ribbon that that translate through all the Autodesk platforms, and so you can see a lot of similarities. If you use Revit, for example, that this looks almost identical except for the little logo here. And a lot of times you can use the exact same tool but find it in different places. So under options, for example, you can get to your preference settings. And so there's a sort of overlapping of people from different industries or for length, people who have been using the program for length of time. A lot of the tools that you'll see in here will also be under the ribbon. So you can sort of adapt your own techniques and uses for this. So let me just sort of create very simple plain here, and then click on the Modify tab. And I'm going to increase and decrease, increase the segments. So we can take a look at all the edged faces here. And I'm going to increase the segments like this. So increase the segments so that now when I change this into an editable poly, I can manipulate these points using my freeform tools. So I can start creating mountains, just painting these mountains. You can imagine it being pretty useful to create a scene. You can plop a building or a site right here and then get some quick renders off of that. There's some fun tools in here if you've never used the program that only get better every year. And then once you're done with that, you can find all sorts of new modify tools in here. One of my favorites is the displace modifier. And so with that, I can use a bitmap. I can toss a bitmap right in here from my materials. And let me see, I can find, oh, there we go. I'll use the material I was talking about earlier. So the black coloring will stay at 0, and then the white will be pushed up. And then I can determine the distance of that. So right now my strength is at 0, so I can just increase that distance. And that will start deforming the shapes upwards with that texture. So as you can see, we have the ribbon here that has been improved constantly to populate, to throw people on it. And down here at the bottom, we have all of our animation controls, so creating keyframes and then adapting camera movement with that is just one of the many things that you can do with the software. So